Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband's best friend he let himself go after he wouldn't stop teasing me about my crush on him in high school? Original post. My husband, his best friend, and I, all 27 years old, all went to the same high school, back when I didn't think much of myself. We had a biology class together and sat next to each other. I thought he was cute, but I didn't pay much attention to him until I found out he was close friends with the guy I had a crush on, who I'll call Jared. After that, I started talking to my husband more, and because he's genuinely kind, and he welcomed it. Eventually, we became close enough to hang out outside of class, and through him, I got to know Jared and the rest of their friend group. I tried for a long time to get Jared's attention, but he never showed any interest. When he got a girlfriend, I was crushed. My husband comforted me and told me I was beautiful and that Jared just didn't see it. Not long after, my husband confessed his feelings. Being a stupid teenage girl, I agreed to date him even though I still had leftover feelings for Jared, mostly because I wanted to feel wanted. But after a few months, Jared became single again and I realized I didn't care the way I once did. That's when I knew I truly loved my husband and only my husband. Years passed and Jared went through a few relationships. His last breakup hit him hard. Sadly, his girlfriend cheated, and when that happened, he started coming over a lot to vent. Over time, he changed from the confident and attractive guy I once liked to someone more withdrawn, chubbier, and honestly not taking good care of himself. That's when the teasing about high school started. At first, it was just him complaining about how he used to look, but then he kept bringing up how obsessed I was with him. I ignored it because I figured he was just reminiscing about his old days, but it didn't stop. Yesterday night, he came over again and went on the same rant about how popular he used to be. Then he threw in another comment about how I was so in love with him back then and even added, "I knew you liked me, but you were not someone I'd ever consider being with in high school. No offense." It was insulting, and even my husband looked uncomfortable. I was tipsy and fed up, so I snapped and said, "It doesn't matter, because you don't even look as good as you did in high school. I don't care if I was never your type, because you're definitely not mine anymore." He looked shocked. My husband gasped, and I immediately felt overwhelmed and apologized. Jared got up to leave, but he was too drunk to drive, so my husband took him to our guest room while I stayed downstairs in shock. We barely spoke the rest of the night. The next morning, Jared left, and my husband finally talked to me. He understands why I was upset, but he thinks it was wrong to say something so harsh when Jared is clearly depressed and struggling with his weight. I get that, but I'm still angry that Jared kept pushing the same hurtful comments over and over. It feels like he's bragging about how I used to like him, and it rubs me the wrong way. So, Reddit, be honest but not brutal. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. He's been dumped and is feeling low because his ex cheated. That's a big blow. So a solution to that is to jump on a memory of a high school crush you had on him and dry hump it to death to build himself back up? Not the a-hole, but he and your husband are. What did your husband say every time his friend made these comments? He would honestly just laugh it off and try to change the subject. My husband is very non-confrontational, but I can always tell when he's uncomfortable. And each time Jared talked about high school, my husband was clearly very uncomfortable. I truly don't believe my husband meant to be dismissive about it. I just think he gets nervous when the possibility of friend drama arises. Your husband being non-confrontational is a cop-out. He keeps inviting this man into your home and then sits back and watches him demean and belittle you. Why would this guy stop when the man who is supposed to love and protect you literally does nothing? And then when you, because your husband is a coward, finally say something, he gets upset with you for being too harsh? Seriously. Not the a-hole. These constant taunts are disrespectful to you and your marriage. Your husband can't feel good that his friend keeps reminding him he was choice number 2. You guys should demand your friend seek help for his issues. Only then would I consider staying friends with him. Absolutely my thoughts. I thought it was rude to me. He was basically calling me ugly. But it was more disrespectful to my husband in the sense that he was trying to belittle my relationship with my husband. Not the a-hole. I wonder if Jared is trying to drive a wedge between you and your husband, so that his BFF will be single too. That's an interesting thought. You got a wimp for a husband. He should have checked his friend. You are his wife. He doesn't have to fight, but he needed to set the boundary and he never did. Not the a-hole. Harsh, but I do agree that my husband should have stood up for me more. Now for the update. Hey peps! I woke up today to a lot of comments, and even though it was a bit overwhelming, I read all of them, and I mean all. A lot of people had negative things to say about my husband, which honestly hurt because I didn't think I painted him in a bad light. Somehow, he is being attacked more than Jared is. Before I get into the mini update, I've seen other posters add context and respond to common comments, so I'm going to do the same. 1. My husband is not a terrible person. I still love him despite everything I mentioned, and despite what I'm going to mention in the update. He is not weak or a beta, like some people said. He just struggles to confront situations like this directly. Jared has been his best friend since 5th grade. That is not a bond that breaks easily. They went to the same elementary school, high school, and university. They are basically brothers. My husband is not sucking up to Jared because he thinks Jared is better than him. If Jared weren't in such a low place, my husband would have been much harsher. I also don't think my husband is perfect. He has done messed up things in the past, but so have I, and I believe people can change. 2. I do not have feelings for Jared. That ended years ago. And no, if Jared had stayed in shape, I still wouldn't have feelings for him. I stopped liking him during our first year of university. We went to the same school, and he still looked the same as he did in high school, so it wasn't his appearance that changed things. He broke up with his girlfriend, and I realized I didn't care anymore. The old me would have been excited and tried to shoot my shot, but instead, I felt nothing. I love my husband and only my husband. Jared is not an option for me in any way. 3. Some people suggested Jared might have feelings for me, which is possible. He has made comments about my appearance before. I worked hard to glow up during my final year of high school because I wanted to improve myself before university. When my husband and I met up with Jared for the first time after that, Jared told me I looked very different. He said it as a compliment. My husband agreed because he thought Jared was just stating the obvious, not flirting. 4. Divorce is not an option for me. I am very religious and I take my vows seriously. They are not something I would throw away over this situation. Divorce is not always the solution. So, before you comment divorce, remember that we are real people who have real history, and it is a lot harder to divorce someone than you think it is. Now the update. I did not show my husband the post, even though many people suggested it. A lot of the comments felt sexist and harsh toward him, and I don't want to expose him to that. But after reading everything, I did want to talk to him about his inability to stand up for me. He told me he didn't want to isolate Jared right now. I didn't know this before, but according to my husband, Jared became a bit suicidal after the breakup with his girlfriend, and my husband was the only one who could pull him out of that downward spiral. I felt sympathy for Jared, and I told my husband that. But after reading so many comments, I realized that doesn't excuse Jared's behavior, so I pushed for more answers. I also asked my husband if it made him uncomfortable when Jared constantly brought up high school. My husband paused, and I immediately knew he was holding something back. I kept pushing until he finally told me something I never thought I would hear. During our first year of university, Jared started mentioning me more during private conversations with my husband. My husband felt proud of dating me and kept saying things like he had invested in me. That already hurt, but it got worse. He admitted that he used to brag about my body and looks to Jared, showing him pictures of me dressed up for date nights. Then it escalated. Jared ended up seeing a picture of me with no clothes on, something meant only for my husband. According to him, it was an accident because he was scrolling through his photo album and the picture popped up. My husband said that when Jared started bringing up high school, he was scared Jared might bring up what happened in university and that I would be furious. I am disgusted knowing Jared has seen me like that. It makes all of his comments about me so much worse. My husband is at work right now, which is why I have time to write this. I'm still processing everything, and I feel completely lost. I didn't want him to be late for work, so we weren't able to talk much. Knowing him, he is probably at work stressing right now about me knowing the truth. If it really was an accident, I feel like I can't be completely mad, but it still feels awful knowing my photos were shown without my consent. I feel betrayed, even if I don't think my husband meant for that picture to be seen. I'm still angry that he bragged about me like I was some new sports car he got a great deal on. I know this is going to make a lot of people hate him even more, but I genuinely don't think he intended for any of this to happen. I know this isn't the update most people expected. I still need to talk to my husband when he gets back from work, and I'm hoping I can invite Jared over later today for a conversation. I will try to update as soon as I can because I hate when updates take so long. I appreciate all the comments that were respectful toward me and my husband, but I do understand the outrage. Thanks for reading this long update. And thank you to everyone who commented on the original post. 1. Please stop saying he doesn't like confrontation, as that is not true. He is 100% okay with confrontation. If he can tell you that you are too harsh, he can tell Jared to knock it off. 2. Your husband is the one not taking his vows seriously. He promised to put you above all others and let no one come between. He is not doing that. He is putting Jared before you, and that is unacceptable. Call him to the floor for that behavior. According to my husband, Jared became a bit suicidal after the breakup with his girlfriend, and my husband was the only one who could pull him out of that downward spiral. Yeah, that's not how depression and suicidality work. Your husband is not the only one that can help Jared. Jared needs more help than your husband can give, and your husband isn't doing his friend or himself any good by playing lone savior. Jared needs therapy, and the more your husband tries to coddle him by going along with the lies Jared is telling himself, instead of pushing him to get professional help, the more difficult it will be for Jared to deal with his reality. Your husband is not a magical cure for depression, and by trying to be what he cannot, he will guilt himself for the inevitable failure and try to offload that guilt onto you. Last story. I left my friend's rehearsal dinner without saying anything. Now I'm the villain. Plus update. I, 34 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 36 male, for 6 years. We are both in the military and met in a school about 7 years ago. Along with my boyfriend, I met one of my best friends, we'll call him Jay, 35 male, in this class as well. The three of us have been extremely close since the day we all met. My boyfriend and I always had this will they won't they thing going on, and we finally did, and we've never been happier. We are the same type of closet weird, and it just works. Jay has had a series of horrible girlfriends after horrible girlfriends. So when he met his fiancée Mary, 29 female, we were extremely happy for him. They dated for about 1 year before they got engaged, and my boyfriend was asked to be a groomsman. A couple nights ago, we were at the rehearsal dinner. Both Jay's and Mary's family were there, all of our friend group, Mary's friend group. The private room at this restaurant was packed with people who loved and supported this couple. An hour into the dinner, Jay stands up and starts giving this big toast. He is going around the table thanking and giving a little anecdote about each person, thanking them personally. When he gets to my boyfriend, he makes a lot of military jokes and then brings up our class and how all three of us met and became best friends. It was super sweet. Until Jay says, but technically it should be me and OP getting married, but you never honored the dibs I called on the first day. This man said this confidently, with his arm around his fiancée in front of all of their friends and family. I was so embarrassed. I looked at my boyfriend and he was laughing. Then I made eye contact with Mary, and she looked upset but was laughing through it. So I got up and left. I didn't say anything to anyone, just got in an Uber and went to our house, took a bath, and went to bed. 2 hours after I left, my boyfriend texted me asking where I went. I told him I went home and told him I was upset at what Jay had said. My boyfriend told me I was overreacting, and he is the one that should be mad about it and he's not, so I shouldn't be because I'm not affected by it. I told him I was not comfortable going to the wedding, and we got into a huge argument. I stayed at home alone, and my boyfriend gave me the silent treatment the whole day and didn't talk to me when he got home. Jay called me 7 times, but I didn't answer. Some of Mary's friends, who already didn't like me, texted me some nasty things, but I ignored it because I don't like them anyway. I can't tell if I'm crazy. Everyone is treating me like I'm the villain, but this joke rubbed me the wrong way, especially after our history. More context, myself, my boyfriend, Jay, and all of our friend group all have the same job in the military. This is a small male-dominated community, and we have all worked together and crossed paths before. The relationship between Jay and me has always been platonic. I would never date Jay. Before this, he was like a brother to me. Most of our conversations involved work, or him asking me for female advice about the girls he was dating. 9 times out of 10, the advice I would give him was to stop cheating on his girlfriends. Jay had tested the waters with me before, but I set boundaries with him and shut it down. And he had stopped after I had been dating my boyfriend for a year. Not the a-hole. It's kind of a creepy joke. He thought a joke about how he should be marrying you at his rehearsal dinner was in good taste? It was a stupid joke, and I'm glad you walked out. His fiancée probably wanted to walk out too. Don't go to the wedding. Right? If the groom makes his own fiancée the punchline at their rehearsal dinner, that's not quirky or funny. It's very disrespectful. OP walking out was the only sane reaction. I would definitely do the same. Now for the update. I woke up late this morning and came downstairs to a bag of circus peanuts and an I'm sorry CD on our kitchen counter. It's an inside joke. My boyfriend was not there when I got up, so I went for a long run. When I got back to the house, my boyfriend told me that he went to work to schedule a moderated conversation with Jay. My boyfriend apologized profusely for not having my back. He listened to why I left and why this comment hurt so much, and I genuinely felt heard. I made my boyfriend tell me his version of what happened the first day of class, and it was more disgusting than what I thought. Jay had made multiple comments about wanting to hook up with me to my boyfriend and anyone who would listen. Once he noticed that I would have one-on-one conversations with my boyfriend, that is when he called dibs. My boyfriend ignored it because Jay would say that about random girls at the bar when they were in flight school. He also told me about how he and Jay had gotten into a fist fight one night, after Jay had asked my boyfriend if they could tag team me. This hurt because I was never anything but respectful and friendly to Jay, and I'm irritated that my boyfriend never told me until this point. I don't think I'm going to break up with my boyfriend, but I am for sure going to need some time to think about things. Thank you all for your insight and help. I am grabbing coffee with Mary to talk things through.